Alright, I think we are live. Let's fire up the chat. Alright, we're here. Hello everyone, and welcome to Bob Plays Ultimate Admiral Dreadnoughts on Legendary Difficulty. This is episode 17. The tide is turning. Yes, I think we have finally turned the corner with France. We had some vicious battles last time that were really just knockout brawls, and I was able to overcome them even with my older ships, which was kind of impressive actually. I really didn't expect that. So now we are invading Corsica. I couldn't think of the word, even though it was just sitting right in front of me. Maybe I haven't fully woken up from my nap. Yes, so when I said previously that I'll be back in a little bit, I started petting the dog and I fell asleep, because that's sometimes what happens. So, I woke up from my nap, super early in the morning. Let's see if we can remember where we're at on things. I think that's I need to probably start redesigning my ships. Do we have any central fire control? We'll wait one turn and then start redesigning ships. So, what I've got here, so this is my invasion fleet. They finally made it up. So you guys are going to go and hang out in Corsica. But I want you to hang out like down here, because you're not great. So I don't want to push it too hard. We only need 15,000 tons. So, you guys, light cruisers, you're kind of beat up a little bit. We're going to go back to base and hang out and wait. Now you guys, who are these? These are my chunky boys. Those may be the first ones that I rebuild. They've seen a lot of action. So I think I'm going to go rebuild my chunky boys probably in Caligari. These guys have been very good ships. We're going to let these guys kind of hang out there too. And we're going to probably just keep the fleet of chunky boys together now, because there's only 7 of them. And then these are my Guardian battleships. Yeah, these guys have been real champs. I need to refit those guys, but maybe not yet. And then somewhere I have my Marauders. I don't know where I put them. I know they're around here somewhere. Where the heck did they go? Here we go. So these guys are repairing right now. And do I only have 3 up here? I guess I have 7. 3, and then I've got 4 down down here, right? Let's see here. I got 2 hanging out here, and I got 2 hanging out somewhere down here. Where are my other Marauders? Oh, I got 2 here and I got 2 here. That's where they are. Alright, so they're fine. Alright, so here we go. So yeah, we'll refit the chunky boys first, because they've been champs, and they're gonna be kind of a standalone invasion fleet at this point. They're getting older. And eventually I'll build new battleships. But well, we got plenty of money, so we're probably fine. We're not going to sell those to you. That's right. We need to beef up our relations with Spain. Let's go and... That's a single chunky boy fighting these guys. I really wish they'd send the light cruisers out, because that's your job, light cruisers. It's your job. It's not the invasion battleship's job to go and guard transports. It's the light cruiser's job. Oh well. It'd be nice if you could sort of assign roles. You know, you guys hunt for enemy ships, you guys go guard transports. I don't even have a radio direction finder on here, so I have no idea where they're even at.
You're gonna get one eventually.
Hey, Solomon. Well, yeah, no, I've got the technology. I just don't have them installed because these are invasion ships. They're not meant to go hunt down, you know, enemy ships or guard convoys. That's what I have light cruisers for.
Can't you switch between ships while you're in battle?
Well, because these are the ones that happen to be in the neighborhood when my transports got attacked. So I guess I'll drive towards. I'll sail towards the gunfire and wreck whatever faces I can wreck. There we go. Now I can see some.
Well, they're just firing right away, aren't they? Can't see anything.
Yeah, let's see if I can. I can't even see him long enough to target him. Well, your radar's a long ways off. All right. Can I at least click on you? There we go. All right. What do you guys have? So first off, the torpedoes, 2-kilometer torpedoes, not a big deal. 10.2-inch guns. That cruiser has bigger guns than my battleship has.
Dude, they look like comets flying out of the sky.
It's a Mark III 10.2-inch gun. Wow, that's a pretty new gun. I mean, I've got Mark III 9 inches, but yeah, he's got newer guns than he's got bigger guns than my battleship.
They must have just celebrated Christmas or something.
Well, those guys are meant for different things. All right. Also, these chunky boys are really old. This is an old ship. All right, so there's a destroyer. Let's go check this out, because the destroyer is going to be problematic, because you have 6-kilometer torpedoes, and I'm already in torpedo range.
Holy mother of pearls, that was a big... The destroyer thing looks like it's a bigger guns. Ow.
Yeah, so we're going to...
You don't want to be hit by that.
Yeah, we're going to start turning, because he's already fired torpedoes at me. There go the torpedoes. Woo, that was close. Kind of close. All right. At least there's a flash fire. You're in trouble. Yep. All right. So I got him. Can't see the other ship because he's hiding in the destroyer smoke screen. And I'm worried about... There we go. I sank the torpedo, or the destroyer. I hope there aren't any more torpedoes. I'm going to turn just in case, because I don't trust that destroyer. Maybe he launched some torpedoes before he sank. There we go. The big difference between me and that cruiser, though, is I've got 14 inches of armor. That guy's underwater. And this cruiser has 5 inches of armor. So I've got 3 times the armor. So that's the big difference.
Oh, you're like, let's see. 1, 2, like 3 spaces on your ship you have to hit.
Yeah, I'm taking a little bit of damage there. I mean, I think I'll win, but I'm gonna get the crap beat out of me in the process.
So your chunky boy is like Iron Man.
Oh yeah, no, he's tough. He's very tough. This guy just won't sink. There we go. Blew one of his turrets off that flash fire. There he goes. All right.
Is his buoyancy about to die?
Yeah, no, he's done.
Okay, cool.
He got wrecked.
Good.
So yeah, I need to rebuild these chunky boys.
You know, to counter modern day ships, I guess.
Well, these are mostly just using these for invasion ships now because they're old. But I need to upgrade them a little bit anyway because they keep ending up in fights.
Yeah, that'll do it.
So, and I want to put the radio direction finder on them because having to guess where the enemy ships are at is so annoying.
Oh yeah, I can bet.
Yeah, you haven't seen me fight with the radio direction finder yet, have you?
I saw it once, I think.
Where it puts a little green line on the map, or on the puts a little green line to show you the direction of the radio signals.
No, I haven't actually. I thought it was something different.
All right, so
yeah,
we're
show
gonna.
me. I want to see
All right,
it.
so we got 100% chance on that. All right, so let's go pull up the chunky boy. Here we go, chunky boy. I first built these things in 1901. These are old ships, and I upgraded them in 1906. So
Well, you're 13 years later, apparently.
yeah.
Would be the start of a good movie. 13 years later.
All right, so here we go. Here's my chunky boy.
So what's the -2 and all that? Did you just add that on there in the name, or is it like?
Oh, that's the version 2.
Oh.
So this
okay.
is version 2. So when we upgrade it, it's going to become version 3. So we've got... So we can switch to oil. We got the we're going to go with better engines, better shaft, better armor, better anti-torpedo. I think those are as good as they can get. Let's see, do I want cordite? Gun range? Yeah, we're gonna go with cordite. And we do that, or we go TNT, which is more stable. We're gonna go with TNT because that's gonna be
TNT, where you could just toss that at a person.
well.
Or does it just throw it in the air?
No, it's for the explosive charge. I can go with Dunite, which is a little more damaging, or the TNT, which is more stable. We're gonna go with this. It's a little safer. Go with better.
How does it work?
Well, it's TNT. It's just dynamite. So you have it's your explosive charge. When the shell hits.
Okay, well that's what I wanted to know.
Yeah, when the shell hits, there's a fuse that goes off, and that will detonate the TNT.
Yeah, because I thought it was just like some sort of. I didn't see it was a bullet that you were talking about, or bullet giant missile thingy, whatever. I wanted to know how you got it into the enemy ship.
Yeah. Holy crap, we can put these at 26 knots. I don't know if they need to go that fast. I squeeze up to 27. I don't... Let's see how much armor I can put on this guy. And... because 25 knots is fine. I mean, that still makes him pretty quick. And I haven't even looked at upgrading the guns, but I don't know if I need to upgrade the guns, because they seem to be okay. I mean, I could make these things go faster even. I just don't have quite the tonnage to do it. Oh, we can also increase barrel length. That's gonna. There we
What
go.
is it? What is increasing barrel?
It gives you longer range and more accuracy, but it lowers your reload, or makes it longer to reload. Well, these are kind of expensive ships
Oh,
now, but they're not bad.
it's like taking an old Dell computer and making it into something into like a gaming beast.
Well, no, it's just you're just a longer gun barrel. It's like on a even on a handgun. Why are rifles more accurate than handguns? The bullets have a higher velocity, but the barrel's longer, and so it's a more accurate shot. 5 month refit time. Wow.
We're back.
Um, Cap ballistic. There we go. I still have kind of a bad pitch, but not much I can do about that. I could try to fix the... If I go to the secondary gun... And... Whoops, no, it's too... There we go. That's perfectly balanced now. Alright, so now I need a few more tons. That's too much. That's too much. Well, actually, I could do that. That's not bad. That is not bad at all. Alright, this will be my new chunky boy. And he's not awful. 25 knots, that's a big improvement over 19. Alright, let's do it. 5 months to redo you though, wow. Alright, well that's what it takes. Alright. Let us start rebuilding these guys. There's only 7 of them, so it'll take a little while, but not too long. Then
Right,
I
I'm
need.
back.
All right, right on.
I don't know.
I need to rebuild my invasion, my other invasion ships too. But all right, so I've got. Ooh, my shipbuilding capacity is garbage. Oh, because everything's being repaired that I put into port, isn't it? Yeah, I've got a lot of stuff being. That's okay. We'll just wait a turn. Can I? I need to improve relations with some people. Who's mad at me the most? Probably let's make England a little happier with me, because I don't want to fight them at the same time that I'm fighting the French. Is there anything else that I obviously need to take care of? We've got you guys down here. There's a torpedo boat. There's a light cruiser. There's a heavy cruiser. Alright, so I think you guys need to jump the heavy cruiser.
I saw a Soviet Union of that, and it made me wonder.
Yeah, the Russians revolted, and they kicked out the Tsar and became the Soviet Union.
Is Ukraine still having issues? Like, because I saw that on the news.
Oh yeah, no, they're still fighting. They're going to be fighting for a while. That's not going away anytime soon.
Okay. I thought they won or something, like Russia won or something.
They're gonna probably win, would be my guess, unless something big changes. The Ukrainians have launched a big attack into Russian territory. Yeah, I think the idea is they want to take some territory before the inevitable peace negotiations. That way they have something to trade to get some of their territory back. And then we'll see if it works or not. So
Oh,
you've got
I
some
see.
light cruisers here. Alright, so these guys, we're going to jump them. So let's go get these light cruisers. There we
Did you
go.
say the French is the blue, white, and red flags, right?
Yeah. Yeah, those are the French. So we're going to jump those guys.
Of course, they're the French. The French always has everything messed up.
And oh, you've got a bunch of stuff that's going there. All right, so we're actually gonna send the whole fleet to go get you. Maybe we can intercept you. That'd be awesome. Oh, you've got battleship coming too. Look at that. That's gonna be a fight. I'm not really looking forward to it either. Alright, so there aren't any other French ships in these waters. How am I... I'm rebuilding my transports. That's coming along alright. Just double checking over here. That all seems to be doable. Alright, so here we go. But yeah, for a lot of reasons, neither side is making a decisive victory, and so the war is going to continue until it stops. Same thing like with the Israel-Gaza thing. I mean, both sides want peace, but they want peace on their terms, and they're not going to agree on what those terms are, so they're just going to keep fighting until one side overpowers the other. Same thing with me and France here. You know, I don't want to be at war, but I want their territory, and they want mine, and so we're going to keep fighting. Ooh, we ambushed this cruiser. Nice, let's get you. You know,
So
so we're going to
pretty much in the world today, people are at war with each other because they're so freaking stubborn.
Well, there's a lot of reasons. You know, like the Russia-Ukraine thing goes back 100 years from where, Ukrainians are still pissed off that Stalin genocided a bunch of them when they formed the Soviet Union, and the Russians are pissed off that the Ukrainians, got either manipulated by the U.S. more recently, or some of them sided with the Nazis in World War II, and those guys are having some influence. There's just it's just really complicated, and it sucks. And the war in with Israel and Gaza, those guys have been fighting for 1,000 years over that stretch of land. They just, well, you did this, well, before that you did that, and well, before that you did this, and there's you can always look further and further back. A lot of these conflicts have deep roots.
Yeah. So to simplify it all, it's just people acting like children and not getting rid of the issues of the past.
No, it's not
Oh.
that's not really it. It's just that sometimes problems, in school they tell you to talk out your problems, but in real life it doesn't work that way. And quite often throughout history, problems are resolved with violence until the solution becomes agreed on by everybody, or until one side is wiped out. And there are a lot of external influences in Ukraine right now, for example, and there's a lot of internal influence as well. Different people want different things, and it's not anything they're going to agree on. They're just going to fight it out until one side or the other either wins, or until they come to some sort of acceptable terms.
If people want land so much, why not actually put our focus into building ships where we could get the space, then people could take up planets?
It's more than just land. It's you have, like for example, in the Ukraine conflict, you have two different sides who both have legitimate grievances against the other. The Russians did some pretty bad things to the Ukrainians, during the Soviet era, and the Ukrainians have more recently done some pretty bad things to the Russians who live in Ukraine as well. And it's just a fight. They just, they can't. There's a lot of corruption. There's a lot of people making money off of the suffering of others.
So we go and kill those people.
Well, that's what they're doing. They're killing each other right now until one side or the other is gone.
Right. We kill them publicly so everybody can see.
Well, it's. I mean, that's what the war is. But the thing is that how do you determine who's the good guy and who's the bad guy?
You say, here, this is going to happen, and you guys need to stop. If you do anything, we'll kill you too.
All right, so, but who makes that decision? That's the real question. Who gets to decide who the good guy and the bad guy is, right? And so, for example, like, we here in the U.S., we're sitting back in a nice, peaceful country. I mean, we've got our problems, but for the most part, we're doing okay. And who are we to tell people on the other side of the world who's right and who's wrong? It's something they have to figure out. We don't.
Well, okay, yeah, no. Our problem is we interfere in problems where we shouldn't.
That's right. Yeah,
we should let them figure out their own issues.
Yeah, and a lot of times we're just making it worse when we get involved in things that we don't really understand. And
you know what? Because back in the day, like I got involved in stuff that I shouldn't, but I was immature and I didn't understand.
Yeah.
The reasons why I shouldn't do that. Now I do.
And so if you look at the external forces in that are operating not just in Ukraine but in many of these wars around the world, you've got people who are trying to profit from it. A lot of politicians and a lot of businesses, a lot of individuals are trying to profit from conflict, because whenever there's chaos and war, there's a lot of money to be made. But when it comes to the morality of things, I don't pretend to understand all the details of a lot of these foreign conflicts. I just know that there's a lot more going on than what gets reported on in the media. Alright, so this is going to be kind of a tough fight. I've got to take out... Oh, he's not as scary. He's only got 11-inch guns. And he's slow. This is going to be a little bit of a fight here, so let's...
If I were president, I'd take everybody out of all the worlds of the world, bring them back over here, focus on the nation's interests, and say, you guys can figure out your own issues.
There's a lot of people who feel that way. I'm gonna argue the other point though. So one of the reasons why the world is relatively peaceful compared to other times in history, at least it's argued, that because the U.S. and maybe China and some of these other major powers have bases around the world, and we kind of secure the oceans, that we can have commerce without a lot of piracy. The only places where you have piracy right now are places where, like, the U.S. and Russia and China don't have naval bases, where we don't really patrol. So, like in this game here, let's go group all these guys together. Why are you so slow? These are all 27, 29. Alright, we're gonna... Let's see, how do I want to do this? I want to have you guys follow the battleships. It's where the question is, where do your national interests lay? And it can be... It's not always straightforward, I guess is what I'm saying. Sometimes, let's have you guys follow. I think that's what we're gonna do. And this way, you guys can jack up a little faster and get up to flank speed. Things aren't always cut and dry, I guess is what I'm trying to say. For example, the United States needs trade, and we rely heavily on commerce around the world, right? And so it's in our interest. Would you please target the Battleship, please. Thank you. It's in our interest to go and secure trade routes for our companies, right? Because that's how our economy largely functions. Ooh, that's a good hit. A little bit of a hit. So, but, there's a difference between having some naval bases or having some treaties with other countries, having airfields in other countries to help secure commerce versus like trying to nation build in Afghanistan for 20 years. Alright, please target the battleship because
I
that
still
one is
just
scary.
don't see the benefit to war. If there's anything that's going to cause war, then those people deserve to get killed
Well,
before it starts. People instigating the war.
well, and wars don't just come out of nowhere, you see. I mean, a lot of times, like the conflict in Israel and Gaza, for example, that's been building for a long time. All right, I gotta pause this real quick because you guys, I don't want you to be that close. I want you to back away so you don't get shot up.
Well, those people just,
So
or
they
at
don't,
least the way I see it,
they
they're
don't
dumb.
necessarily.
They're
Well,
always going to be fighting each other. So
it's not a matter. It's not a matter of dumb. It's just that they have different interests
yeah,
and
I mean like at least when it comes to wars, like if you're wanting to stop all the wars in the world, there's going to be like some people you can't do because with Gaza and Israel, they're a lost cause. You can't do anything with them. They've made their decision. They're
well,
going to murder each other until one of them is just dead.
probably. I mean, I don't. At least I don't see any. I don't see any realistic way of stopping that fight. But
Not even creativity.
but then
could
again,
do
it's
that.
not. That's their conflict. They've got to figure that out. Now,
My point.
the problem is that a lot of times, different countries are going to intervene because, people have alliances, people help each other out. We're allied with Israel, for example. Iran is allied with Palestine. And so you're
If
going
we're
to...
allied with, oh, if
And
we're
so-
allied with, sorry.
Well, and so, you want to... So, for example, uh, you and I are friends, right? And if I saw you getting beat up on the street by three guys, I'd jump in and help,
Yeah.
even though it's not my fight, but you're my friend, so I'm going to help you out, and I won't necessarily ask why. Now, let's look at it a different way. Let's say you picked a fight with somebody, and it's your fault. I'm still going to help you out because you're my friend. I might scold you later and say, hey, that was dumb, you shouldn't have picked a fight with three guys, but I'm still going to try and help you out because we're friends.
This is like a bad example because if I ever get in a fight, like unless I'd ask for your help, I would actually be really pissed if you intervene.
All right, well,
Whether we're friends or not.
okay,
Bad
whatever.
example.
Okay, so if my buddy Jan got into a fight, granted he's huge and he probably doesn't need a lot of help, but if Jan got into a fight, I'd still jump in and have his back because he's my friend, even if it's his fault, because friends help each other out.
Mm-hmm.
My ship is getting spanked. He's taking a lot of damage, a lot more than I'd like to take.
Is that the
That Marauder over here, he got hit
Oh.
a few times.
It's
Taking
not
out the
big
enemy,
time, it's like-
yeah, taking out the enemy battleships are kind of painful.
Hmm.
So right now we're just circling the fleet, the enemy fleet. We're just sinking stuff, and we're gonna win this. I just have to be careful not to get this hurt. So how a lot of these conflicts end up starting is, you and I are friends. Somebody's causing you trouble, so I help you out. And then somebody gets mad that I'm helping you out, so their buddy starts causing me trouble, so you help me out with that. And then somebody else gets mad, and somebody else gets mad, and friends just start helping each other out. World War I started because somebody shot somebody else, and everybody started helping each other out and coming to the defense of their allies, and it just escalated.
Ego. It just sounds like a bunch of ego.
Well,
everybody-
it's not even a matter of ego, but people had agreements. Hey, if you get messed with, I'll help you out, and if I get messed with, you help me out. It's just, that's the
So
basis
it's-
of diplomacy.
So it's people messing with the lines.
So just because
Accident.
one dude shot another dude, and it triggered a big conflict because everybody had promised to help each other out, and
So
so
it's basically a matter of human greed that's causing these wars.
well, I mean, greed's a part of it, but a lot of times people end up in situations that are sort of bigger than them, where uh, what starts out as a small problem uh, can often escalate because people have different interests.
Right.
People
But
have, for example, let's say somebody opened up a competing business, in town. I would try to run them out of business, or at least make sure that my business stayed dominant, right? And they might be trying to make sure that I go out of business, that they stay dominant. And, as long as we keep things civil, everything's friendly competition. But sometimes something goes wrong and things just start escalating.
right, but I'm just saying, like, even a matter of war or whatever, right? There's like, if you do this, then this will happen. Should it be a little bit of common sense there? Because,
Well, the thing
obviously,
is, a lot of times people don't know what's going to happen because, people don't always communicate effectively, or sometimes they don't really understand if somebody's being serious, or people have misunderstandings too. I mean, if everybody
I,
clearly understood each other, it'd probably solve a lot of problems, but they don't always.
yeah, and that, since they don't understand, that's why it's far more simpler to just inflict fear on everybody, because
Well,
then it
and,
forces them to understand
well,
or
that's
stay
the
away.
foundation of peace through strength. People will, it's been argued by some people that the best way to have peace is to have a very strong country that people are afraid to fight you, and then they're more willing to talk and negotiate whenever there's disagreements.
Why I
And
over-explain everything, 'cause it allows other people to understand things.
the best way to think about it is, if if two dudes are fighting, or have an argument, and they're both pretty big, they might have a healthy respect for each other. I might win this fight, but I'll take a lot of damage if I get into a fight with this guy. And so they talk it out. They buy each other a beer, and they figure it out. If one
You know
guy's
what?
really big and the other guy's small, and they don't think the small guy's a threat, maybe they end up being more willing to fight. The big guy's like, well, I'm gonna kick your ass. You're a little dude, and you're weak. And then they get into a fight. The little dude pulls out a gun and shoots the guy, and now it's
So
you
it's
you
it's
never
literal.
really you never really know how strong your adversary is, and so misjudging your opponent's strength can often lead to conflict as well, because if you're having a disagreement with somebody and you think that they're weak and they're really not, you may try forcing them or using intimidation. It can it can turn sideways pretty quick.
Yeah, that's why I this is it's interesting. Like, if people get involved in fights, it's not really their business just because they have some sort of alliance. That was stupid to begin with, and maybe it worked at the time, but not changing things over the years, getting involved in a fight that's really none of your business just because you have a perception that's misplaced on things just seems to be egotistical. At least
Well,
to me.
sometimes it just comes down to bad communication also, or interests change. There's times
Yeah.
that uh, all right, for example, a long time ago, during the Cold War, the United States and some other countries in Western Europe formed NATO because they were worried about the Soviet Union. Now there's an argument over whether or not NATO is still important because the Soviet Union doesn't exist. Sure, Russia's a big, powerful country, but they're not as big as the Soviet Union. So some people are like, "Oh no, Russia's scary. We still need NATO." And other people are like, no, Russia's not that scary. We don't need NATO anymore. NATO is costing too much money and causing problems. And eventually, things are going to continue to change to where, one way or the other, something different is going to happen. But
Is
over time,
NATO is NATO the people that just go around and preventing problems in the world.
Well, that's
going
what
on
they
right
that's
now?
what they think they do. It's the North American or North Atlantic Treaty Organization. It's basically a mutual defense alliance where it started out where countries in the North Atlantic,
Hmm.
United States, Britain, France, probably Spain, places like that, all agreed if one of us gets attacked, we'll all jump in and fight.
Right. So these people are
But
thinking that NATO is
then
causing
they
problems, just want
but then
war.
over time other countries in Central Europe, for example, joined NATO. Turkey joined NATO, which isn't even on the Atlantic. Now Turkey's in a strategic location. But the priorities change, the needs change, and so as situation changes, alliances may alter, and if you're holding to old agreements with new situations, sometimes it can cause unforeseen conflicts. And so just my advice, just like in life, you have to constantly reevaluate everything on a pretty regular basis. But a lot of times wars just sort of build up over time when people aren't expecting them. And by the time it happens, it's too late to really change. And then you're stuck in it. And then how do you resolve the conflict? You can try to negotiate it out, but historically speaking, getting into a fight and winning a decisive victory has solved more problems than negotiation has in many cases.
Here's what you do: you
So
take
they
away all
are.
the
You
you
take
take away you take away all the nukes and everything, and let people fight with sticks and stones.
All right. So how do you take away the nukes without somebody killing you? So, for example, let's say any country at all came to America and said, "You need to give up your nukes." If I was a president of the United States, I'd be like, "Go fuck yourself! I'm gonna kick your
So
ass."
so that right
It's
there
it's like it's
would
like if
never
some
work. It's
it,
the way it's done
right. So
because
so
you
let's
would.
let's say somebody here's a more realistic example. Let's say somebody came up to me and said, "You've got to give up your gun." I'd be like, "No." And then so how are they? So what are they gonna do? I said no. Are they going to force me? Well, if they force me, then we get into a fight and we start shooting at each other, right? That's how the American Revolution started. The British told the colonists, "Hey, you need to give up your guns." The colonial Americans said no. The British tried to take the guns by force, and so the Americans shot them. And that's kind of historically what happens whenever you try to force unwilling people.
You don't need to force just like, and I'm not saying give up guns. Technically, sticks would be guns. Right? And what I mean, sticks and stones. But I don't like. I'm talking about big tanks and all these and nukes, all these big ass weapons. As long as people have a gun, I mean, you're good. Just
Well, I mean,
know that that's like a
why
have that gun but never use it.
Well, why would I give up my tank if I had a tank? Why would I give up my naval warship? If you have basically if you're the stronger country, if you're the stronger nation or the stronger entity, why would you give up your means of strength to impose your will on others or your means to defend yourself
Well,
just because
then
somebody asked you?
at this point, then choose left or right. Don't just choose peace or war, not one or the other.
Well, you don't
Because if
have to. You
people
don't
can't
have
give
to.
up their
You don't have to necessarily choose either or. You can just say, "I'm going to keep all my weapons and be strong. Everybody, leave me alone." And then, because when you're big and strong, so Mike Tyson has the opportunity to talk his way out of any fight because he's Mike Tyson and nobody wants to get into a fight with Mike Tyson. But
how did he get to that point where nobody
well,
wants
because he's a world champion boxer. I mean, he's fucking Mike Tyson, right? So if you're having a disagreement with Mike Tyson and he says, "Hey, let's sit down and drink a beer and talk it out," you're going to be like, "Yes, sir." Because you don't want to get into you don't want to get into a fist fight with Mike Tyson. He'll kick your ass.
Okay, so
But
you build a
if
you
some
build
little scrawny crackhead is like, I just fucked your mom, let's go talk it out, I'd be like, "Fuck you, scrawny crackhead, I'm going to kick your ass," because
Right.
I'm not scared of the scrawny crackhead. But I sure as hell am scared of Mike Tyson.
So you build a reputation like Mike Tyson, and you go around the world, collect certain individuals, like from
I'm going to
every
try
country.
auto-resolving this.
And then you say, look, we need to make a worldwide attack.
Well,
Okay, and
that's what
we
they
live.
tried to do with the United Nations.
Okay. Uh,
And sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't.
so it's basically a lost cause because people are greedy motherfuckers. That just
Well,
want
it's
to
not it's not even just that. It's that people don't always have a healthy respect for what makes things work, for what works and what doesn't. And let's go move you guys.
Screw it. I'm just gonna go build a house in the middle of like some platforms.
Well,
People can go kill
a lot of
themselves.
people choose to do that because,
Ugh.
you know,
If this, if nothing can be resolved, then what's the
well, it's
point?
not that nothing can be resolved. It's just that it's always complicated. It's never a black and white solution. If something gets to the point where people are willing to fight over it, it's not just a black and white solution. Choose peace, choose war. We're already, you're already past that point because things have gotten out of hand. Let's go.
Because okay, so I hate to say this, but when people say that the world needs to reduce the population, that would solve this whole freaking thing because like there'd be
Well,
very few people and
Well, no,
could have
it
peace.
would. I mean, if you tried to reduce the population, you have World War III because who gets to
Right.
decide who
Well,
gets
I mean,
reduced and who doesn't? I don't want to get
right,
reduced. If you try
right,
to
but
reduce my population, I'll fucking shoot you, right? I mean, I'm
yeah,
not going to
but
stand up for that.
I
And
mean, I mean, at this point, like people want peace but aren't willing to commit the peace and just cause a bunch of problems because they want to defend everything.
well,
I mean,
it's not a matter of committing to peace. Everybody wants peace. Well, most people want peace. The problem is that who
peace
decides
is.
what peace is? So,
I feel like this is written in our biology. We know what peace is. Like,
well, for example, I want peace in my life. Peace means to me, stay off my lawn, leave me alone, let me run my business and make money and kind of do my thing, right?
right. Don't
But
interfere with other people's shit.
but when some half-naked crackhead comes in my backyard, I'm gonna pull out my gun. I'll tell him once, hey, motherfucker, leave my yard and put some clothes on. Well, you can stay
Right.
naked, just leave my yard, right? And if he says no, gun's coming out.
Right,
And
right. And he bring that upon himself by
right.
doing that. And if the city or anybody got mad at that and intervened, congratulations, they are in the wrong. And
Well, not necessarily, because if a cop sees me, well, I mean, Oklahoma has certain laws. I'm allowed to pull a gun on a naked crackhead that tries to come on my property, but you
sure,
have to be able to justify what you're doing, right?
because
And
I'm speaking on a point like on a level that everybody should just understand. It's not an enforcement of like a police or anything. I'm
ooh, I
saying
got
it
Corsica.
should just everybody wants their peace. If we want peace and we don't want war, then everybody wants their. I also talked to a police officer once about this, which was very interesting. And she was like, "But you need to be able to shoot people in order to protect your peace." I was like, "You got it wrong. I don't understand why you think this.
What?
That's the tactic of
Wait,
fear, not peace."
let me give you a different perspective, okay? It's not that you need to shoot somebody to protect yourself. It's that trying to think of a very diplomatic way to put it. So, let's say somebody is causing me problems, right? And I have to protect myself. I can choose a variety of different options. I can choose, hey, I'm going to be peaceful and talk it out, or I can choose to intimidate the guy, or I can choose to get aggressive, right? It's not a matter of people need to do this. It's that people are going to choose, to enforce their will and protect what's theirs in whatever way they find to be most appropriate. But they get to
Right,
decide how they're going to do it.
right, and
And
that's fine. But using your enforcing your will upon other stuff because you think that is yours, that is wrong.
well, it
And that will
depends on
start wars and
it
conflict with
depends
everybody
on what it is. This is
else.
why people have kind of agreed upon boundaries. Like inside my house on my property, I get to enforce. I'm morally justified in enforcing my will on whatever I want because it's my house, right?
Right,
If
right.
I have a barbecue, or if we have a barbecue at the store and somebody shows up drunk, I'm gonna toss their ass out because You
And
know,
you have that right.
right.
You know,
Now,
but
if I go to your house and start causing problems, you have the right to toss me out. And this is why, there's certain kind of rules of conflict, and there's sort of certain agreed upon ways of doing things. And this is sort of where like chivalry came from in the Middle Ages, where people, or even just certain concepts of honor, I guess you would say, people kind of agreed upon how they wanted to conduct themselves. Ooh, that's
all right.
nice.
But correct me if I'm wrong about this, right? Let's say,
What is that nation right there where the big thing is, right?
like, just pick one of those nations. So, Western Germany. Okay, all right. So, say I ruled Western Germany, right, and I have these alliance with other nations or something, right?
Right.
And some other nation decides to step on my nation. Should I just go to war with their nation, or just go to that person and say, "Hey, get off, or I'm going to make you
Well,
get
it
off"?
well it depends. Also, keep in mind that different cultures have different values. So, like, if you go to what's that island off the coast of India, like South Senegal Island or whatever, where it's basically just a tribe of people that want to be left alone. They murder anybody that sets foot on their land.
Well, they're
You
not
know,
part of
that's
society, so that's just
well,
common sense. Stay away from them.
well. I mean, they would probably argue that they have their own society. Um,
Well, yeah,
so it's
that's
the
like
and this is sort of where the idea of fuck around and find out comes from. Ooh, we got it. We ambushed these guys. Let's go get them. If you generally speaking, I'm of the opinion that before you get into something, you should do some research, figure out what's gonna happen, understand understand the culture, understand the situation, and move forward cautiously so that you don't get in over your head faster than you can get out of trouble, right?
Yeah,
And
and like you were trying to say before, if you ever came to my house, I wouldn't just kick you out, even if you were causing problems. I'm not that dumb.
right, but
That I was just giving my point of that thing from when I was
right,
talking about Germany.
but sometimes people have different ways of doing things, and it's
yeah, but you said observe things,
yeah.
so
But
that's
as
what
I think that a wise leader will go forward cautiously and deliberately and sort of understand situations before they get in too deep, right? But
Yeah, I think that's
not
good, but
everybody
yeah,
is a wise leader. Now, just because they're
yeah,
wise, it doesn't mean that they're going to behave themselves, let's say, by our morality standards. They may still say, we're doing this thing, we have this claim, and we have this disagreement, and we're going to enforce our will, through violence because it's effective. And so, generally speaking, if everybody has the means to defend themselves, historically, things tend to be more peaceful because usually wars start when one side has a unrealistic appreciation for the power and ability of another side, and so they start a conflict that they're not prepared, or they egg on a conflict that they're not prepared to finish. Because it's not always the strong side that starts the fight. Sometimes it's the weak side that starts the fight, or
oh yeah, I
starts.
didn't think of that.
In fact, quite often, it's the weak side that I really want to target and shoot the torpedo boat. Thank you.
Maybe that would have to do
Quite
with
often, the weak side will try to intimidate the strong person, and let me give you an example. I was in a situation once where a person who was taller than me was egging me on and trying to cause me trouble, thinking that he was bigger and tougher than I was, and he didn't realize that that I was a wrestler and I was probably half again stronger than him. And he kept on pushing his luck and pushing his luck and pushing his luck, and eventually he fucked around too much, and I grabbed in a headlock and gave him noogies because I didn't really want to hurt him. But, uh, you know, he was the weaker opponent, and because I was the stronger opponent in that situation, I had the escalatory dominance. It was my decision how far we wanted to escalate things. I really don't want you to blow up my ship. Hurry up and sink him, please. And a lot of times what happens is when people are getting into, alright, it is time for you to peace out, because you took too much damage. And actually, we're just going to have you sail that way. And you guys are going to go faster. And you're going to pop smoke and try to cover him. So,
always say that criminals, if you're going to do a crime, at least don't be found out.
Well, if you're gonna be a criminal, don't be a shitty criminal.
Yeah.
But the thing is that so in every situation, one side or the other has escalatory dominance, and that means that the side with escalatory dominance gets to determine how far the conflict goes. In most situations, for example, let's take the drug cartels on the southern border, right? The United States has escalatory dominance. We have the big country with all the weapons, and we can decide whether we want to, you know, bomb the drug cartels' houses or whether we want to just fuck around on the border, right? And so let's say they did something. Good, looks like my cruiser will get away. Let's say they did something to piss us off. Let's go use high explosive shells because the armor piercing's not working that well. Let's say they do something to piss us off. We can decide how we want to respond. On the other hand, you know, some ranch guy in this is not going very well for me. I could try and run him away, but he's almost down. Let's see if I can just burn him. You know, some rancher in northern Mexico or southern Texas, let's say, you know, if the drug cartel comes over the small army, the drug cartel gets to decide how violent things get. So, one of the big arguments for why you should have the means to defend yourself, you know, whether it's through physical training or by owning a weapon and being trained, is because then you have the escalatory dominance in a conflict situation, and you can decide how far to take things, right? One of the reasons that things are going so badly in both Ukraine and Gaza, for example, is that the Gazans didn't realize that Israel has the escalatory dominance because they're the ones with the big military. Now,
oh, okay. Yeah, they don't have the right to. They don't have the power to defend themselves.
Well, Gaza's dependent on foreign nations, you know, like Iran or Lebanon or whatnot, to help them, right? The same thing's happening in Ukraine. One of the reasons things are going so sideways in Ukraine is that Ukraine does not have escalatory dominance. Russia does, right? You know, Ukraine's going to fight very hard, but Russia gets to determine the pace of the war because they're the bigger, more powerful country. Ukraine's dependent on the rest of Europe and America to help them out. And so,
you rely on other nations for your issues.
And whenever you rely on other nations for help, that means you have to give concessions to those other nations.
You're subject to those nations.
Right. So, for example, last year, Ukraine launched an attack into the Donbass area that was it didn't go well, right? And the Ukrainian general didn't really want to do it. In fact, the Ukrainian president didn't really want to do it because it was a stupid attack. But they were sort of forced to because NATO said, you have to show progress, otherwise we'll stop giving you weapons. So as a result, the Ukrainians, in order to maintain fighting, had to give concessions to NATO and launch an attack that cost them a lot of lives, that in order to continue getting the support they needed to fight the Russians, right? So whenever you're not self-sufficient, you have to you
I
have
see
to
above
submit
us.
to others to some extent. So for example, you and I can be friends as equals because I'm self-sufficient and you're self-sufficient, and if I'm busy, you can go do what you need to do on your own, right? If you're busy, I can do what I need to do on my own. However, when we help each other out, it's because we choose to help each other out, not because we're forced to help each other out. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And so a lot of times when these conflicts start, it's because a country might be, or a group might be in a fight, or might be starting a fight, but they're dependent on other allies to help them. And so they can't resolve their conflict the way they want to because they have to make concessions to other allies who have different interests.
So all these bloody wars around the world just end up happening because people suck at conflict resolution because they
Well,
don't have their shit. They didn't plan properly.
well, and they don't always necessarily. Albania, sure, let's take Albania. They don't always see the big picture, because remember, you can only make decisions as good as the information you have. So if you have bad information,
I
then
just recently learned that, by the way.
right, then you're going to make bad decisions, even though you're a smart person. On the other hand, like look at World War II. Hitler's a crazy motherfucker. Sometimes you
Yeah.
just get some crazy motherfucker.
Yeah, he sort of just asked for that.
Right.
I think
But-
we were totally okay for involving ourselves as America in there.
Well, because we got attacked. Once
Yeah.
once you get attacked, then then the rules change, right?
Yeah.
But there we go. That's good. That'll work well. And that's going nicely. We'll keep going. We'll keep doing that. Yeah, that's going good. So
So, do we help all these other countries because they're not smart enough to help
no,
themselves?
we help these other countries because we want trade agreements, or we want military bases, or we want America has interests that are different than for example, America's not helping Ukraine because America likes Ukraine. The American politicians don't give a shit about Ukraine. They're helping Ukraine because they're seeing some benefit from it, financially, or there's resources in the Donbass that they want, or they want trade routes, oil pipelines, things like that. China's helping Russia.
Oh, okay,
China
so
doesn't give a
it's
shit
business
about
transaction.
Russia or Ukraine. China wants to do their One Belt, One Road initiative, or or look at like the Israel-Gaza situation. We're sending aid to both sides. That doesn't make any sense. Why are we doing that? Well, because Biden or whoever wants to get some political benefit from helping the Gazans, but he also wants the strategic benefit of helping Israel and have military bases there and have an ally in the Middle East. It's whenever you're dealing with foreign. Oh wow, China took all this stuff. Go China. Whenever you're dealing with foreign powers, there's always it's never just cut and dry. Whenever
I don't
America
even
does
think
something
it's
around
foreign
the
powers either. We people do that with other people too.
well, yeah, sure. It's like, why do I, why do I hire Ed? Well, because I want to make money, and he has skills that I need, and I'm willing to put up with,
I
the
think that's just
consequences of.
friendship in general.
Well, yeah, true,
Like,
but
I keep you in my life for sort of main reasons. You have stuff that I need too.
well, sure. And so the big mistake that people make when they try to analyze these situations is they always just look at it as a very one-sided thing, and it's never one-sided. It's always multifaceted, and things change. It's always very dynamic. And so you can't just say this is happening because of this. Well,
This
maybe.
is one of the reasons I like talking to you about this stuff because you have a very good viewpoint on it.
I try. I mean, I've read a lot about history, and I've traveled to a lot of places.
Which just further proves that you have a lot of stuff, and that's worthy of listening.
Yeah.
I could get more accurate details from you than I could from anybody else.
Well, it's like
Because you actually have been to these places and
have actual
Yeah.
experience about.
Well,
a
it's
lot
like
of
with the Russia-Ukraine thing. You know, I've got Russian and Ukrainian friends. I've been to both countries a few times. I don't even begin to understand on a deep level what's going on there. I have kind of on a surface level what I understand what's going on, but I mean that's that's about it. I understand probably more than our idiot politicians do, but there's it's always a lot more complicated than what the news makes it out to be, for example, because they're just trying to sell advertising and get clicks and whatnot.
Just trying to look after their own.
Let's see if we can angle a little bit and get.
So everybody's just trying to look after their own. If the problems happen when you try to look after other stuff, and when people just don't want that or something like that.
Well,
I know it's like complicated, but
everybody, it's natural for people to want a very simple good guy, bad guy. These are the good guys, these are the bad. Like in Star Wars, right? The rebels were the good guys, and the Empire was the bad guys, and it's very cut and dry and simple, and it makes a great story, right? The world's often more complicated than that. Sometimes it's not good guys versus bad guys. Sometimes it's bad guys versus more bad guys.
I'd like to understand the situation of certain things, so if ever I come across certain situations, I know how I should react in those certain situations. And so just some things that one should just communicate about.
I'm going to get hit by a lot of torpedoes here. Holy shit, I dodged it! Holy crap, I dodged the torpedoes! Oh my god! Oh my goodness, I dodged the torpedoes. Holy crap. I hate fighting in this foggy weather because destroyers suck and they like to shoot torpedoes at me, and it's really annoying.
Speed is strong with this one.
Oh my goodness, that was epic.
And you got it on stream. Somebody should clip that.
Yeah, if I can find where it was at. Oh, here's some more torpedoes. We're gonna kind of cruise away. Oh, these are cadets. No wonder he's not hitting very well. He's taking a lot of damage.
Mm.
I would really like for you to kill that annoying destroyer. Let's see if we can do that. I don't know if you're going to be able to or not. Shit, that's a torpedo. This one I'm gonna get hit by.
Does the is there a book like out there somewhere?
Oh my god, I dodged it again. Oh, this battleship is so maneuverable.
Huh.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness, too bad it's... I mean, it should have pretty good armor. It's just I keep taking a lot of damage from all this gunfire. It's not that much damage, but there we go. That hit the destroyer. Hopefully that'll... Okay.
So I was sitting in my chair the other day, just
my luck's gonna run out. I think I'm
okay.
No, holy crap! It has. Yeah, I got clipped by that one. I didn't take too much damage, but
Did you just dodge more torpedoes?
well, I got hit by one of them. I'm not
Oh.
doing great. It's really hard for me to see the torpedoes in the foggy weather, and I've lost a lot of speed from that torpedo hit. And so now that I've lost my speed, it's going to be...
Oh yeah, you're dead. You're buoyancy, man.
Oh no, I'll pump the water. I'll be okay.
Oh, okay.
I'm at 67% buoyancy. It's not the end of the world. It's just I am not doing as well as I would like to do.
So, does it only take one ship to go underwater, or do both of them have to
What do you,
before you lose? Before you lose, and it's like.
well, I have to get down to 0 flotation to sink.
But you switch to your other ship after that.
Well, I only have this one. This is my only ship.
Oh.
Okay, I sank the destroyer. The problem is I'm taking a lot more damage than I'd like to take.
Mm.
Let's see if I can get you. Why is this cruiser so... You got 10-inch guns. Those hurt. I mean, I'm hitting him too. I'm hurting him more than he's hurting me. It's just that this is a really expensive... This is a $175 million ship.
Yeah, and you just it got so damaged, man. If this were real life, I'd feel sorry for the people.
Well, it sure would be nice if that cruiser would finally sink. I just keep flooding the same areas.
Dude, is this what happens in the actual Navy? Like, they put all these billions of dollars on those ships and then it just sinks?
Well, I
Like,
mean, we haven't really
that.
lost a significant ship in a while.
Oh, significant ship. Like, does that mean we've lost ships? Just
Oh,
not
yeah, of course we've lost. Yeah, I
important
mean,
ones?
yeah, sometimes, yeah, like, I mean, and it's relatively hard to sink a well-designed ship.
I hope very important people were on those insignificant ships.
Alright, so... I think that destroyer's gonna get... Well, maybe I can catch him. I see where he's going. I don't want him to torpedo me again, though, is the only problem. His smoke's gonna run out at some point, and then I'll be able to hopefully shoot him again.
Well, it was a blast. I'm gonna go do some other stuff.
Alright.
Talk to you later.
Well, thanks for hanging out, Solomon. I always enjoy our conversations. Now let's see if we can chase this bastard down. I don't know if we can, but I'm mad at him. I think he's gonna probably get away. 'Cause he's going too fast. Let's go fire high explosive at you. I just need one good hit. And you're out of torpedoes, so... There we go. Now you're in trouble. You're not getting away now. I am listing over pretty bad, but we won. But oh my goodness, that hurt. That was a vicious fight. That's a 12,000-ton cruiser. That's... You know, 60% my size. He had pretty reasonable guns. Oh, man. That was a pretty good fight, though. I just took a lot more damage than I wanted to. Light damage. That didn't feel like light damage. I lost 3 transports in the Arabian Sea. So I'm going to have to deal with that. I am building up my ships, though. So they've got... I mean, I've got more tonnage in the Arabian Sea than he does, so I should be able to deal with it. Here's a cruiser. There's a battleship. So what I want to do is I want to intercept those guys if I can. Oh wait, was there something over in here that I can... You know what, I'm going to take you guys and I'm going to park you right here. And make you guys go past me. And that's what we're going to try doing. The Bad Vasalu. I love this ship. It's an awesome name. I don't know how long he'll remain useful because he's getting older, but the Bad Vasalu is awesome. That's got to be one of my favorite names. Now let's go take care of this, and I'll probably wrap it up for a bit after this. I know it's kind of a shorter stream than normal, but I want to go take a quick break, make something to eat. I haven't actually eaten supper yet. I got home from work, I streamed a little bit, and then I fell asleep. So, I've got to check on this computer I'm working on. It's not working too well. So, let's go... Let's go find these guys. It's a really nice ship. Alright, here we go, buddy. What's the range in your torpedoes? 6 kilometers. So we gotta be kinda careful. Alright. Now, would you please click the pause button when I click you? He fired it already, so we need to shoot at him, and we need to hard turn around. Because there's probably torpedoes coming my way. It's a matter of time before the other cruiser shoots torpedoes at me also. Oh crap, I took an engine hit. How did I take an engine hit? I don't see any... What the... Well, something hit the snot out of me. Well, this takes away a big advantage of mine in speed. Alright, we're going to do a fighting withdrawal now, because I don't have the... I don't have the speed to really maintain this. The transports are going to get jumped. Oh, there we go. We fixed the engine. I don't know why the targeting goes away. So you don't have any... Let's get close to him and sink him. There we go. Get some hits and finish them off, please. There we go. Alright, so one problem solved. Ow, I'm just really taking... What are you hitting me with that hurts so much? You're trained. These are 4.5-inch guns, Mark IIs. They're not great guns. I mean, I've got bigger guns than you do. I'll try cutting across to you and maybe I can get... How much armor do you have? 2.8. I've got more armor than you do too. I mean, I've got better armor also, so I don't know why... I don't know why those are ricocheting. Alright, I'll fire, I'll just do nothing but high explosive. Are you running away now? Figures. Alright, I'll chase you down. Gotta be careful of his torpedoes. I can't believe he's not flooding yet. How fast are you going? 7 knots. So I mean, he's got problems. He hasn't tried firing his... Oh, he fired his torpedoes. Right, no, turn. Would you click on things, please? Alright, there we go. He's got a lot of torpedoes remaining. I mean, he's getting beat up. I'll win this, I think, but I'm taking more damage than I'd like. Finally, I got a good penetrating hit. Got a lot of... my damage and stability's not that bad. I guess the damage and stability goes away faster than it used to. We're protecting the transports at least, so that's something. Alright, there we go. Whew. Well, I think I am going to make something to eat. Oh, hey, the computer activated that I was working on. Outstanding. That saves me a lot of trouble. I'm going to go make something to eat, and then I will play some more. I'm starting to get a little hungry. So, thank you everybody for watching. I hope you enjoyed the conversation I had with Solomon. I wasn't expecting him to hop on and have like a geopolitical conversation about the morality of war, but you know, it's why I like hanging out with my friends. You never know what we're going to want to talk about, and I'm always happy to answer questions if I can share wisdom from my years of travel around the world and my studies. Then I am certainly happy to do that, and I hope I can learn from you guys too. So, thank you for watching. I'll be back in a little while, but first I'm going to make food. And I'll see you guys soon. Goodbye.